Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vanessa and I'm an author from Toronto, Canada, and I publish under the pen name A.N. Sage. If you are new to this channel, then I'm sure as you saw from the intro, I write a lot of magic, a lot of mystery, and a lot of mayhem. I am currently working my way through a paranormal cozy mystery book series, and I have 20 books published so far, with more coming. So far in my career, I've done both indie publishing and trad publishing, and so I kind of try to share my tips as I navigate through the world of publishing books and being in the book world altogether. And some of the things that I like to do on this channel is share tech and tools that are really, really helpful to me, both as an author and both as an avid reader. And I'm saying that because that's going to be relevant today. My last video, if you missed it, I talked about the keyboards that I use, how I use them, which projects I use them for. So I'll put them in the card somewhere and make sure that you check it out if you've missed it, if you want to see what I type on. But today it's very exciting because I just got something in the mail a few days ago. And if you don't know, this is the Kobo Libra Color. So this baby is coming out on April 30th. I just got it in so I could test it out and stuff like that. And I also have a Kindle Paperwhite. So disclaimer, before this, I had a Kindle Oasis, which is a very similar kind of setup with the buttons to this, but it's black and white. It's not in color and you can't write on it. And I sold that one just like on Marketplace so that I could justify this purchase. So I could have one Kobo and one Kindle because I didn't need like 2 or 3 Kindles and then Kobo on top of that. So the Kindle does have a scribe, which is another one you can write on. Now this is a color version, so you can write on it, you can annotate, highlight, all that stuff, but it does come with the Kobo stylus. I don't have the stylus yet. It's coming in separately, so it's a little bit behind. So I won't be able to show you how the stylus works. But it works if you have a scribe or if you've seen the scribe. It's very similar. You can write directly on your documents, like in the books that you're reading, like on them. The scribe, however, in my opinion, is ginormous. It is huge. This is basically a regular e-reader size. The scribe is like massive. It's like a tablet. And that's not for me. I like to relax to read. I don't want to hold something giant. I'm sure for some people really like it. I don't have a use for something that huge. And I did hear, before you rush out to get this, maybe something to put out there, that Kindle will be coming out with their own color version. I can't confirm this because it's just kind of like hearsay at this point, but I have a feeling that when they do, it will be the same size as the scribe, and I don't want something large, like I said. So, and I saw that this came out. I was really excited to get it. I will also say that this is pretty much half the price of the scribe. It is very affordable, and did I already mention a million times, it's in color. So right there, the value goes up for me. The other thing that the Kobo will allow you to do is if you're in Canada, you can actually read library books on this. Now, if you're in the States, you can read your library books on your Kindle as well, but you can't do that if you're in Canada, which is where I am, and I was really excited about that. And just like the Kindle, so in the Kindle, you can email, there's like a Kindle email, and you can email book files to yourself, and I do this a lot with my own books, so I can read over them for editing. Here, though, you can connect either your Dropbox or your Google Drive directly to the e-reader, and it will upload it in a library, which I think is so much easier than going through the whole email process. But that's just a personal perspective. So what I thought we would do today is I would compare these two. I'm going to flip the camera around so you can kind of see them. There might be a little bit of glare, and I'll chat about that because I'm using a ring light. So I'll try to angle them in a way so you can see them. But we can compare the two so you can get a better idea of what they look like. But for the most part, I'll just be showing you kind of the features of the Libra Color because I'm really excited about this one. And I'm assuming that people are familiar with Kindles, which I will show a little bit of the comparison with the two, but we're mostly going to just cover features. I'm not doing any tech stuff. This is not a tech channel. I am not a tech person. If you want to know specifications, like exact sizing and stuff like that, you can just Google this and everything's online. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to talk about this basically from the perspective of a reader and an author and what I think will work really well for me. So let's turn the camera around and let's chat. e-readers. So I have the 2 readers set up right now. Apologies for the glare. That's my ring light. It's gonna get reflective because we've got screens here. So I'll try to angle things like this so you can see it better. But we'll do a quick run through of the 2. So for size comparisons, as you can see, let's line them up. The Kobo is actually shorter and wider, so it's almost like a square, and it is a little bit shorter than the Paperwhite in its size. It does come in 2 colors, so if you like the black that the Kindle usually is in, you can get the same version in the Kobo. It does have these 2 buttons on the side. There we go. So it's got 2 buttons on the side. Then the Paperwhite does not. And as I mentioned, the Oasis had this as well. And that is for navigation. So you can press forward or backward. And if you're left-handed, it does reverse as well. The Kobo, when you are actually reading, and I'll show you in a second, it will auto-rotate. So there's a feature that you can click for auto-rotation. But as far as menu goes, when you click on the home menu in the Kindle, so if you're familiar with the Kindle, you have your library at the top, books you may have liked in Kindle Unlimited, continuing your series you started, reading based on your reading, and other recommendation of books. Kobo is a little bit different in the main menu. So we are on the home screen right now, and in the home screen, you'll have your books that you've been recently reading at the top, all of your books over here. And then it says borrow ebooks from your public library, because that's something that you can do, and view your public library holds. So Kobo is very encouraging to library reading. Now, I will mention, if you're in the States, that you can actually read your library books on the Kindle as well. You can send them to your Kindle and read them there. However, if you're in Canada, only Kobo will allow you to read library books, or if you have one of the other off-brand e-readers as well. So the next menu on the Kobo Libra Color is the My Book section, and as you can see, all of the books are in color compared to your Paperwhite that will all be black and white. So these are all the books that I have so far. They're all color covers, which I absolutely love. The next section that we have is my notebooks. I really like this. I have not written anything in this yet because, like I said, I'm waiting for the stylus to come in, but it will give you like a little walkthrough of how to use it. But you can set up your notebooks here, and you can have as many notebooks as you want. And the one cool thing about it is you can actually change the page background to different things. So you can have a grid, you can have a bullet journal kind of layout, which is what I have here. Not clear, but if we go into change background again up here, there's all these different templates that you can use. So you can turn this into a storyboard. You can use this as a weekly planner. So it's almost like digital planning, which I really, really like. The only one I have set up so far is book ideas. So like I mentioned before, I think I talked about this in the intro, but essentially when I'm reading, I will get ideas from my own books, and there's nowhere for me to write it down because a lot of times I'm reading in the evening or when something else is going on. So this way I can just grab the stylus, which is magnetic, and it will fit right here. And I can just jot down my note ideas right when I'm reading it. Then your next section is Discover, which is very similar to kind of where all of these after your library books come in on the Kindle, but you can discover books that are recommended to you. They'll give you a daily ebook deal. There's a wish list, which I already started creating some stuff for myself, like top picks, categories. You can go by categories right away. There's similar books to some of the ones that you already have in your library, top 50 books and things like that. So this becomes very, very similar to the Kindle, but I do find that the navigation on the Kobo is much more intuitive, and it looks nicer, and not just because it's in color. So the top section here, you can see it says ebooks, audiobooks, Kobo Plus. Kobo Plus is basically like Kindle Unlimited, but for Kobo, but they don't have as many titles. So if you are part of Kindle Unlimited and you're expecting the same titles to be on Kobo, obviously they won't be, because Kindle Unlimited makes books exclusive. So if you are an author who's in Kindle Unlimited, obviously your ebook cannot be anywhere else. So Kobo Plus does not have exclusivity. So books that are available wide can also be in Kobo Plus. And then Overdrive. And Overdrive is your library. So Overdrive is a library lending. So I guess it's like the Ingram Spark of libraries, essentially. I don't work for Overdrive, so I don't know how they work. But I have holds here that I'm waiting for until they become clear, and when they become clear, they'll show up in the My Books section. And then the same, they have recommendations, popular titles you may have missed, and the same thing that you would have for ebooks or audiobooks or Kobo Plus, but in Overdrive. So you can listen to audiobooks on this as you can on the Kindle. I'm not really an audiobook person. I used to be, but I don't really drive to work anymore, so there's no time for me to to listen to them. Now in this part here, this is kind of like the settings section. So this is where it gets like pretty cool. You can have your wish list under more, but then you also have my Dropbox and my Google Drive. And what this means is that this is where you would upload books into your Kobo. So you can actually, the way that you could email yourself books on the Kindle, you could sync your Google Drive or your Dropbox directly to this e-reader, and when you drop them in there, they'll create a file for you, a Kobo file in your selected choice of storage. And once you drop a book in there, that's a format that they accept, like EPUB, MOBI, PDF, things like that, it will automatically show up in My Books once you sync it, which is very, very cool. And so what I plan to use this on for is once I'm done drafting my books and I do like that first edit, self-edit, I'm going to format them, just unveil them really quickly, like a dirty little format, and I'm going to send them to my Google Drive. And then what I'm going to do is go through my book on this e-reader and make notes with the stylites and highlight and use the color coding that's available, which I'll show you in a second, to further edit my book so I can almost annotate my own book, but for edits. I think for me, this is going to be really, really useful. And as an author, I think it's really useful because you can see it on a different format than you would on your computer, and you'd be surprised how much more you can catch that way. You have activity. There's some beta features here. I'm not even sure what they are. Oh yeah, like large print mode, and you can browse the internet through here and favorite words or whatever it is. Your settings and help. So when you go in to the top menu, so very similar to on the Kindle, what you would do here, the same thing is you would do this. So your dark mode is here, all your settings, airplane modes, brightness, and everything. That's where that is on the Kindle. And your more, which is what we just saw there, would be here, which is like your settings menu. So they're very similar in the way that they're laid out. But over here you have your brightness. You can change your natural light, so you can have more warm or more cool tones, and I have it to warmer tones, so it's more like daylight. You can set a bedtime for yourself, so when it kind of like goes on dark mode, I guess. Your Wi-Fi, battery mode, there's notifications, so when your book becomes available, for example, on the library, like your hold that you were waiting for is now in your book, so it'll send you a little notification. You can sync your Kobo to like Overdrive and Dropbox and all of those regularly on the sync one. And then this search top bar is where you search for different books, and you can select to search either in the Kobo store, your Overdrive, in your book, current read, in dictionary, or in your annotation. So there's a lot of different search options. When you search for on the Kindle, for example, there's just one search bar, and you click it and it will tell you, like it will categorize it for you. So if you search, like let's say I'm searching for Grave Roast, which is one of my books, it'll show it to me like if I have it in my library, and then it'll also show up if Amazon has it. So now if we go into, let's say I was reading What the River Knows, really good read, by the way, and I've made some annotations. So if I want to annotate this, I would just basically click on this and I would highlight. And then this little screen will pop up and I can change the highlight color. So let's say I wanted pink. So now this highlight is pink. Now if I want to highlight here, and I want to highlight this, I want to actually add a note to myself, and I'm going to say that this is foreshadowing, for example, which I already made a foreshadowing note thing here. And I click on it again, and let's say I want all my foreshadowing notes to be in a blue color. So I'm going to change that to a blue. So now you can see the pink is like a different note. And then when I have the stylus, I'll actually write directly, like you can literally handwrite. I wish I had it here so I could show it to you guys, but maybe another video. So now when we go and we click on this top section here, so you can click on this and I can write with my finger. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be messy. But if you go into this little folder on the bottom, so it's a little folder that looks like this. this little folder here, and you click on it, and it will show you the different colors and annotations you made. So now it will say this blue today, author's note, foreshadow. There's another one that I made 2 days ago that was foreshadowing, just a note I made for myself. And you can filter this according to markups, highlights, notes, or bookmarks that you made, which I think is very, very cool. Another thing you can do is you can search directly in the document. So it will pull up when you click search while you're in a book, it will pull up the search bar. And then you can literally bookmark like a page for yourself. And it's really cute the way it shows up, like a little folded over page. And then you can change the direction. So auto rotate, which is what I told you before. So because it's auto rotating, see now we have it. And this is good because in color you can read graphic novels on it. So you can have that 2-page spread. So this is for rotation. Again, the brightness here, you can change your, oops, oh my gosh. You can change your, it would be really nice if I could click stuff. Your letter sizes on this, you can change your font size here, but it also changes font size by pinching. And so you can pinch in, pinch out the same way you would do on your phone. And then your reading settings, which are different from your main settings, will come up when you're on the book, and you can kind of change your controls and what it shows you for the chapters. And what I really like on this, so let's say if we go back. So on the top here, you can change what it has. And right now I have the title of the chapter, and then it'll tell me how many pages are left in the chapter. And on the bottom, I have it set up that it's the title of the book and what percentage of it I have read. And I think that essentially covers everything. There's not too much more, but I think between the two of them, I figured I have it covered. But honestly, the Kobo, the color, and what you get for the price that you get it for is absolutely worth it so much more, unless you're a diehard Kindle person. So now that we've had a chance to kind of look at both of them together, I think you can see why I'm so excited about this thing. I think it will be so beneficial to me to have this for editing my own novels. But not just that, I am very, very excited about the concept of annotating books that I read, because I've always wanted to annotate, but I don't really read physical copies. I have a lot of physical copies, but these are just, the bodies of the ones that I've killed. They're just here on display. They're heads on a stick. I just display them for prettiness, and sometimes I will look at them and smell them and touch them, but I do not really read this. I have read some of them, but for the most part, I read on e-readers because they're convenient, they're fast, I can throw them in my bag. And I really, really like the idea that I can annotate, that I can make notes, I can color code, I can go reference them later, I can use them in my reading journal to remember quotes I like. More importantly, I really like the idea of having these notebooks that I showed you, because as I'm reading, I constantly have ideas for my own books, because, creativity sparks creativity, and there's nowhere for me to write anything on, especially when it's nighttime and I'm reading in bed. This way, everything's in one space, and I can just go ahead and jot those ideas down and remember them later down the line. So I am super excited about this. Let me know if you've seen the whole video, which one of these you still prefer, if I have swayed you to kind of give this a shot, or if you're sticking with the Kindle, if you're a Kindle person. But if you have a Kobo, are you thinking of upgrading? What do you think of this? What are your thoughts on both of them? I've only used this for a couple of days. I already really, really love it. I do have cases coming. I got the clear case, and I've got stickers to put on the back of both of these because they're going to be little cute little matchies. And I've got pop sockets so I can hold them up. So all of that is coming in the mail. And one of my really wonderful author friends is actually sending me another holder case for the Kindle Paperwhite. So I'm going to have a lot of options of how to hold them, and I'm very, very excited about that. But in the meantime, I'm obsessed with this thing. I really, really love it. I hope that it was useful if you were thinking of getting it. Like I said, it comes out on the 30th. Now, if you order through Amazon, you might get lucky and they might ship it out earlier. I think that's exactly what happened to me. So I'm just waiting on the stylist because I have to order that separately, not from Amazon. But if you order it earlier, you might get it earlier. But either way, it's coming out in a few days. I hope you run out to get them because I'm really, really excited for this. So with that said, as always, I hope you stay magical, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye!